Hello everyone, I am Twinkle Jane J. Buluwitan and here I am to discuss about the Norwegian language. Norwegian is a North Germanic language spoken by 5.32 million people. It is the primary official language of Norway and spoken by about 90% of the population as a first language. Geographically, it is the majority language in all of Norway with the exception of two municipalities in the north, where this position is held by North Sami. Norwegian alphabet consists of the same alphabet we use in English, but with three extra letters attached at the end and is identical to Danish alphabet. It has 20 consonants and 9 vowels. It is important to learn that Norwegian has two official written standards, though we are not talking about two languages here, but two standardized way of writing the same language. These two language forms are Nynorsk, or the modern Norwegian, and Bokmål, or the book language. We are now going to discuss the consonants, vowels, sound patterns, lexical categories, and the phrase structure rules of Norwegian language. There are 20 consonants of the Norwegian language. B, b, banan, or banana. D, door, or door. Fabrik, fabrik, or factory. G, g, gut, or a boy. Hoda, or a head. Ye, yenta, or a girl. K, k, konya, or a king. L, lux, or salmon. Magya, or stomach. Noria, or Norway. Penger, or money. Radio, or radio. Sofa, or couch. Te, or tea. One, or water. The consonants T, Q, W, X, Z is rarely used in Norwegian language as these only appear in loanwords. Instead of foreign words, it is written in Norwegian way. C is for chauffeur, or a driver. Q is for cognac or brandy. W or falsifier or qualified. V for cloven or clown. And Z is instead written in S like zebra or zebra. Now let's discuss the 9 vowels, which are the A, E, I, O, U, I, A, U, O. A in alphabet or alphabet. E in apple or apple. Occasionally, the E sounds like A in that means is. Very seldom, we will see an E with a little accent on the top, which means we should add emphasis in the E sounds like idea, that means idea. I, idret, means sports. O, olja, that means oil. Sometimes this sounds like O, like in norsk, that means Norwegian. U, uk, that means weak. Sometimes it sounds like O in ungdom, that means teenager, or in buksang, that means pants. Ö for chic, that means sick. Eureka, that means profession. Note that you should purse your lips in producing this sound. E for bear or berries. Trær or trees. O for oil, that means beer. And O for utta, that means egg. I'm going to introduce the diphthongs. E for stain, bein, I for my, hi, Au for sow, Europa. Oi for oi, boy. There are rarely used consonants in Norwegian. Q is pronounced as ko for Qatar and kuve increase. W is pronounced as v for vat and vuk. X is pronounced as s or x for xylophone and fax. Z is pronounced as s for Sioux and Zambia. D is often but not always silent at the end of the word like biro, that means bread, and sun, that means sand. T is silent if it is after a definite singular or in de, that means it. G is sometimes silent if it is the first letter of the word it and it will sound like ye or iate in goat. It can also be silent if it is at the end of the word following an I or it is in front of J, like helde or lucky, yen or again. H is silent when followed by a J or a V and typically occur in the beginning of the word, like hjelm or helmet and va or what. K can sometimes have sounds if it is in front of an I or a J, hino or cinema, and chula or address. S can sound like sh if it is written with K or a J, and also occurs when it is followed by R, like shilit, or a sign, douche or shower, pashun or person. Let us go now for its tactical descriptions. M, ma, voiced bilabial nasal. M, na, voiced alveolar nasal. M, nga, voiced velar nasal. P, pa, voiceless bilabial plosive. T, ta, voiceless alveolar plosive. K, ka, voiceless velar plosive. B, ba, voiceless bilabial plosive. D, da, voiced alveolar plosive. G, ga, voiced velar plosives. Fa, voiceless labiodental fricative. S, sa, voiceless alveolar fricative. Sh, sha, voiceless retroflex fricative. Voiceless palatal fricative. Ha, voiceless glottal fricative. Va, voiceless labiodental approximant. L, la, voiced alveolar lateral approximant. Ya, voiced palatal approximant. R, ra, voiced alveolar tap and flap. Ra, voiced retroflex flap. Wa, labial velar approximant. Vowels are either long or short. Long vowels are usually followed by singular consonant, and short vowels tend to be followed by double consonant. Ah, fra, that means from. A, frak, that means coat. E, se, that means see. E, engelsk, or English. I, sier, that means says. Ikke, that means not. O, los. O, ost. U, brukja, or use. U, huskja, or remember. Ö, just, or bright. Jos, or warm. E, where, fair. A, open back and rounded. E, open mid front and rounded. E, close mid front and rounded. E, close front and rounded. E, close front and rounded. O, close back rounded. O, close back rounded. U, close front extra rounded. U, close central rounded. U, close front rounded. U, close front less rounded. E, near open front unrounded. E, near open front unrounded. O, close mid front rounded. O, open mid back rounded. Norwegian is a stressed accent language, but has element of pitch accent, with two distinct pitch patterns. Norwegian is said to be sing-songy and goes up and down quite a lot, but it actually depends on what part of Norway you're from. The pitch accent 1 or tonem 1 and pitch accent 2 or tonem 2. The pitch pattern 1 starts in a low to high, while pattern 2 starts a bit higher, dips low, and then goes high. In tonem 1, loven, that translates into the law, and in the tonem 2, loven, that means warm. Another example is vunna or water and vunna or to water, spilla or to play, and spilla or the game. Accents not only occur in nouns but also occurs in verbs. For example, otapo or to touch, and otapo or to put on clothes. A lot of verbs that ends with e are pitch pattern 2, like spise or to eat, snapke or to speak, drikke or to drink, and skriva or to write. And a lot of nouns in the definite form are pitch pattern 1, like lopa, the race, and hopa, the jump. The stress is usually on the first syllable in Norwegian. Textbook, sentrum, norskkurs, morgendag. Now let us go to the lexical categories. First, we will go to the nouns and then verbs. Norwegian nouns are inflected for the number and for the definite less. In a few dialects, definite nouns are also inflected for the dative case. Norwegian nouns belong to the three classes or genders: masculine, feminine, and neuter. All feminine nouns can be optionally inflected using masculine noun class morphology and bookmark due to its Danish language. And gut for a boy, a do for a girl, et hus for a house. In English, we have three translations in Norwegian: N, E, it, depending on the gender of the noun. These are called non-definite articles. There is also no the in Norwegian, but instead it was put in the ending of the word. For example, the boy, gutten, the door, door a, the house, husa. As you have noticed, the ending of the word depends on the gender of the noun. If it is a male noun, the ending will be n, gutten. And if it is a female noun, it will be a, dora. And if it is neutral, it will be it, pronounced as e, like in husse. We use s in plural form in English. In Norwegian, we use gut, gutter, dur, durer, vindu, vinduer. In plural, we don't have difference between the genders. It is always although almost always, there are exemptions if the word is neutral or has only one syllable, just like hus. Just like in the non-definite plural, definite plural also don't have differences in genders. However, it uses e and e. Huttana, dorana, ussana, venduana. Norwegian verbs are not conjugated for person or number unlike English. And most European languages, though a few Norwegian dialects do conjugate for number. So here's a table for us to understand more about it. I am in English is jeg er, you are is du er, he or she is han hun er, we are is vi er, and they are is de er. As you can see, the Norwegian conjugation of verbs is not affected by which person it is or if it is singular or plural, considering the correct form is are in all different persons above. Now let's take a look on this. O vara, or to be. In present, we say jeg er or I am. In preterite, we say jeg var or I was. In present perfect, we say jeg har vært, or in English, I have been. O ha, to have. In present, jeg har or I have. In preterite, jeg hadde or I had. In present perfect, jeg har hatt or I have had in English. Or gjøre, to do. In present, we say jeg gjør or I do. In preterite, jeg gjorde or I did. In present perfect, jeg har gjort or I have done. Or skulle or shall. In present, jeg skal or I shall. In preterite, jeg skulle or I should. In present perfect, jeg har skullet. That means I have had to. Or ville or will. In present, we say jeg vil or I will. In preterite, jeg ville or I would. In present perfect, jeg har villet. Or få, to get. In present, jeg får, that means I get. In preterite, jeg fikk or I got. In present, jeg har fått or I have got. For additional examples, bli, blir, ble, har blitt. Gjorde, gjort, gjorde, har gjort. Dra, drar, dro, har dratt. Drikke, drikker, drakk, har drukket. Få, får, fikk, har fått. Gå, går, gikk, har gått. Komme, kommer, kom, har kommet. Si, sier, sa, har sagt. Ta, har, tok, har tatt. You might notice that in the perfect present column, there's a har. And yes, if there's a har, it means it is a present perfect verb. Now let us proceed to adjectives. Norwegian adjectives, like those of Swedish and Danish, inflect for definiteness, gender, number, and for comparison. Inflection of definiteness follows two paradigms called weak and strong, a feature shared among Germanic language. What I have here are the Norwegian adjectives in attributive form. So here's an example of a masculine noun with an adjective with different form. In cool guitar, a cool guitar, indefinite singular. Then coole gitaren, the cool guitar, definite singular. Coole gitarer, cool guitars, indefinite plural. De coole gitarena, definite plural. And here's an example for neuter nouns. Et fint hus, a nice house, indefinite singular. De fina husa, the nice house, definite singular. Fina hus, nice houses, indefinite plural. De fina husna, the nice houses, definite plural. Next is the Norwegian verbs in predicative form which have feminine nouns. En lampe kan være fin. A lamp can be pretty. Indefinite singular. Lampa kan være fin. The lamp can be pretty. Definite singular. Lamper kan være fine. Lamps can be pretty. Indefinite plural. Lampana kan være fine. The lamps can be pretty. Definite plural. And for the neuter nouns, et fjell er ofte height. A mountain is often high. Indefinite singular. Fjellar height. The mountain is high. Definite singular. Fjellar ofte høye. Mountains are often high. Indefinite plural. Fjellene høye. The mountains are high. Definite plural. We will go now to the adverbs. Norwegian adverbs are part of speech. Generally, they're words that modify any part of language other than a noun. Adverbs can modify verbs, adjectives including numbers, clauses, sentences, and other adverbs. However, there are adverbs that amplify and diminish. So here are some examples for adverbs that modifies. It modifies a verb just like in the sentence, Fan min løper fort, which means my dad runs fast. The verb there is løper, that means run, and the adverb that modifies it is fort, that means fast in English. It also modifies an adjective just like in the sentence, Emily are extreme smart, which means Emily is extremely smart. The adjective there is smart, and the adverb that modifies it is extreme. That means extreme in English. It also modifies a clause, for example, in the sentence, Philip arbeider ofte sent, which means Philip often works late. The adverb ofte or often modifies arbeider sent, that means working late. It modifies another adverb just like in the sentence, Hun løper utrolig fort, which means she runs incredibly fast. The adverb utrolig or incredibly modifies another adverb, which is fort or fast. Here's the example of adverbs that amplify or strengthen a meaning of an adjective and another adverb. Koppen er helt full, that translates into the cup is entirely full. The adverb helt, that means entirely, amplifies the adjective full. Mayat heiner mye bedre enn meg, that translates Maha draws much better than me. The adjective mye or much amplifies the bedre, that means better. Jeg har bodd her altfor lenge, that means I've lived here far too long. The adverb altfor or to amplifies the lenge, that means long. However, there are also adverbs that diminish or weaken a meaning of adjective or an adverb. For example, in the sentence, Kan du snakke litt høyere? That means, can you speak a little slower? The adverb litt or little diminishes the høyere, that means slower in English. Han vant nesten konkurransen. That means he almost won the competition. The adverb nesten or almost diminishes vant or won. Har du nok mat på spise? Or do you have enough food in English? The adverb nok or enough diminishes mat or food. Some adverbs can also be used in comparison. Fort, fuetere, fortest, fast, faster, fastest. Pien, pianere, pianist. Pretty, prettier, prettiest. Sjeldent, sjeldnere, sjeldnest. Rare, rarer, rarest. Huit, huie, huiest. High, higher, highest. And now the pronouns. There are different kinds of pronouns in Norwegian: personal pronouns, indefinite pronouns, relative pronouns, reciprocal or reflexive pronouns, and here's a table for us to look. Jeg or I, du or you, han or he, hun or she, vi or we, de or they, my or me, han or him, henne or her, us or us, them or them, min or my, din or your, hans or his, hennes or her, vår or our, deres or their, minna or mine, dinna or yours, hans or his, hennes or her, våra or ours, deres or theirs. And lastly, we are going to talk about the phrase structure rules of Norwegian. While almost Norwegian sentences use the subject verb object word order, like English does, Norwegian does have this V2 or verb second rule. If the adverbial phrase or subordinate clause is in the front of a sentence, the subject and the verb have to switch places. This is called inversion, so that the verb stays in the second position. Here's an example of a sentence that is in the subject-verb-object order. Marius spiste lefse med lunch i dag. That means Marius ate lefse with lunch today. Sofia jobbet hjemmefra under pandemin. That is, Sophia worked from home during the pandemic in English. In SVO word order, the noun first or the subject, then the verb, and put the rest of the sentence. For example, Jeg går tur med hund. Jeg, that means I, is the subject, går is the verb or go, and hunden is the subject, which is the dog. In verb second, it goes like this. I dag spiste Marius lefse med lunch. That translates into today, Marius ate lefse with lunch. Under pandemien jobbet Sofia hjemmefra. That means during the pandemic, Sophia worked from home. If it is a question like hva gjør du, that means what are you doing, hva will come first as it is the question and be followed by a verb gjør, and then the subject do you, which in the singular form. In V2 or verb second order, you're going to put the verb before we put the subject. Like in the sentence, I dag går jeg tur med hunden. I dag means today, then the verb går, and then the jeg, which is the subject, tur med hunden, and the rest of the sentence, and reads, Today I go for a walk with the dog in English. And that ends my presentation about the Norwegian language. Have a great day!